Welcome back to another week of Last Week in the Real World reviews. I am today's news anchor, Raucus. Just randomly saw magazines fit quite well. Alright, hello everyone. Hope everyone's having a great week. I have a lot of interviews to get through, so I will be getting straight into this after I check if everything's working. Believe it should be. Yep, I see myself live on Rumble, live on YouTube. Hello. Alright, let's start with Mr. Producer. Boom. And then we scroll down to Matt. And before I do begin with Matt, if anyone's watching, I said to the people who are watching live, if you have any kind of questions, let me know. If you just want to say hello, feel free. I'll say hello back. And yeah, any questions I'll answer. I'll just go through a load, then check chat, and then go through a load, then check chat until I get through it. All right, now that we have that sorted, let's begin. Matt is 21 from Sudan. He is studying in Malaysia, and he actually found out about the real world because of his brothers. Two of his brothers were in it. They were going through. They're like, Matt, you have to join. There's so much within the real world. You're missing out, Matt. And he's like, okay. They're my brothers. I'll trust them. He joins the real world, and as usual, as it goes, you just get blown away because there's so much content, there's so many resources and community and everything. Man, I'm getting hyped just thinking about it, even though I've been in for ages. All right. So with his brothers, they started an e-commerce store, and in a fairly short time span, they earned $1,400 in profit. So they found their product, and now they're focusing on scaling the product. When he was applying, this was the message he sent me when he was applying for the interview. I come from a zero background knowledge on money, especially online money. Don't know why the need for that gesture. I was just thinking money coming from the sky. And the real world has told me everything I need to know about e-com, and I'm making money by listening to the advice and videos provided in the real world. So yeah, that's Matt. And then we go on to Chris, whom made $7,000 in 2 days after landing a copywriting client. So I think it was 2 days worth of work for $7,000. No, that's wrong. Something to do with 2 days and making $7,000. There you go. And previously, before he joined the real world, he was a McDonald's worker. So it's like the usual story that Tate says, you're going to work in McDonald's, someone needs to flip the burgers. And he was actually flipping the burgers. And then he found out about the real world, and now he's living in Dubai and UK, traveling between, while making $7,000 through copywriting. There you go. Sky money. All right. And the way he actually landed his first paid client was he offered to do some copywriting services for his barber. And through that, used it as a testimonial for future pitches. And yeah, landed paid clients. And now he's chilling. All right. Next we have Julian. Julian is 19. He does kickboxing and content creation. He actually wanted to do an interview since June. He said when the opportunity presented itself, because Pope implemented a form within the content creation campus to apply for an interview with myself. If you have the proof, if you can provide the details for it and the proof, and there's some other things I asked for, then yeah, I'd do an interview with those people who apply. And he was saying he needed to meet the income threshold before he could apply, so he was focused on that. And now that he finally met it, there we were on an interview some months later. And what he does is UGC content for companies. And the way he landed his first client was he just randomly decided to do a UGC video with a deodorant stick that he found in his bathroom. And he found it quite funny, and actually ended up, the end product was actually quite good. So he decided to send it off to a client to show them what they can do. And the client liked it. So I think that was probably the first first paid client he landed that way, and after that he's landed several since. He's even done a promo for his local town's talent show. So yeah, I believe that's everything for Julian. And now we can go on to Daniel, who does stock trading. First, when he joined the Reward, he done paper trading, learned from Ayush on how to trade. Then past 3 months, he's been trading with his real money, and he's earned $5,000 as an 18-year-old, I believe. Yeah, as an 18-year-old. And before joining the Reward, he talked about being depressed and life being quite shit. And just how much that changed after having joined. So he does options trading, and he explained the strategy he uses for trading. And yeah, I remember him saying he wants to go into real estate later. And that pretty much sums up Daniel. So I checked chat. Hello to everyone watching. If anyone has questions, feel free to give me a message and I will reply while I take my sip of water. Cool. Moving on to, since no one replied, or no one messaged, that is, we move on to Evan. No, I lost track. Amen. I believe it's Amen next. Yes. Amen. I remember Amen's the dude that does sneaker reselling. And I believe he earned 4K from sneaker reselling and 1K from starting a social media marketing agency. Amen is 18. And in total, earned $5,000 at 18 years old. He goes quite in depth on sneaker reselling, since I had no idea what that is or how it works. Okay, what that is, I did have an idea, but I had no idea how it works though. So he explained the process there, then explained reason for starting his social media marketing agency, which actually isn't his first one. During his first one, his partner ran away with the client. Seemed like a shit situation. And now he started his own again, using the client acquisition campus. And I believe it was the sneaker reselling content creation, which helped with sneaker reselling. I believe. Don't quote me on it. And then I will move on to Evan. Now, Evan was quite a story. And in just the last 10 days, Evan generated $15,000 for his company in sales. Well, technically, his company generated $15,000, $10,000 of which was from him. So $10,000 in sales in 10 days. And before joining the real world, so a few things. One, he had a real estate license and was trying to go into that field, but even going more back, he was in the military. He had a very bad injury, which led him to having to leave the military. So then he tried to pursue real estate, and his mother died, which sent him down a pretty bad spiral. And from there, just a lot of things went to shit. And even at some point, he said he was thinking of driving his car off a bridge. As he was sitting in his home watching the TV, he just was getting thoughts to pick up his keys and go drive his car off the nearest bridge that was near him. So that was pretty fucked. And he was saying just how much joining the real world has changed that around for him. And listening to the Tates and the real world, everything about it, just how much it helped him transform his life. So again, a super cool transformation story there. And he has a lot ahead of him. So I'm sure during the next interview we'll do, he'll be super well accomplished. I'm sure of that. Okay. Oh yeah, he even said the brotherhood within the real world is better than what he experienced while being in the Marines, in the military. That was a surprising thing to hear, but fair enough. And then we go on to Sean, who wants to be a Navy SEAL. So he actually done the interview in his military uniform and in a closet. Maybe closet is the wrong way to call it. But yeah, I think he was on deployment, so he had to find some time away. And we done the interview there. So with Mr. Sean, we have in 1 year and 2 months, he went from 10,000 to 250,000. That wasn't only stock trading. That's what I was trying to get into during the interview, for him to break down exactly how he went from 10K to 250K. Big part of it was from stocks. There was a part where I believe something to do with him and his mom had a 50-50 on a house, which they sold. So he got some money from there, then reinvested. And some odd jobs he was doing here and there, always reinvesting into stocks. So yeah, eventually where it compounded to 250K within a year and 2 months, which is pretty insane growth. So good for him. And since he said he wants to be a Navy SEAL, I told him about my background in competitive swimming. Because, yeah, I used to be a competitive swimmer. But that was young years. I stopped on when I was maybe 12. So, young years. But at 11, 12, I was competing against 14, 15-year-olds. So, I was doing pretty well. That's where this physique comes from. All right. Then, that was just a random reason to flex. All right. Sean, anything else? A lot of swimming related questions because of the training you need to do to become a Navy SEAL is related to water. And a lot about mindset as well, since he had a very solid mindset. All right. Moving on to Jeremy. Jeremy, I remember, was very well spoken, especially for his age. So you could tell he was practicing that. He made 10,000 in 1 month, in just the past month, through e-commerce. And he learned how to be a man while in the real world, or through the real world and through the Tates. Because before joining, he was just playing video games and wasting his time, which is pretty common at this point for men to do. They're just lost. They don't have a trajectory. They don't have a purpose, a direction to head towards. So they just spend their time playing games, because in a way hijacks the part of us that wants to conquer, because we're still getting dopamine from games, whether it's competing against other people or building up a character. It's a substitute for it in a way, which is unfortunate. So yeah, Jeremy instead quit games, decided to make ecom his game, and asked him about the reason for his mental shift, went through that. And a lot of his story was his experience with the real world. So yeah, and we move on to James. But before we move on to James, we check if anyone has asked questions. No questions. Good. Then some more water. Damn. Cup is too far away. Oh, capture, I see. Okay. Next up, we got James. James is an interesting one because he has a university degree. He worked in a law firm and a marketing firm. So, in corporate sense, quite well accomplished in terms of his resume. But he realized that that wasn't the way to go. And after joining the real world, he actually started his own company, which in just 1 month, he got 6,000. He generated 6,000 with that company that he started in 1 month. Wait, what did I just say? In the same month that he started the company, he earned 6,000. That's what I meant. Okay, and it was super interesting conversation with James. A lot of it was about the interesting stories that he had through corporate world and through the jobs he had in university. And I even asked him to compare traditional university route with the real world. Some interesting insights there. And how the real world helped him scale his business. That was main overview of it. But yeah, it was super. It actually just felt like an actual podcast kind of interview. I don't know what else to call it. Because usually I focus more on the real world with people, but in this case it was not purely, but a lot of it was James's story. Because it was relevant in terms of his experience. I'm going to start to ramble, so I'm just going to move on. Next we have Alexander, who done copywriting. He earned 2,000 so far. I remember he said he was over in Florida, And I asked him about the alligators because you just see random people fighting alligators over in Florida. And you also see the articles, Florida man, blah, 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 Florida man this. So I made a joke about that. And that's what I remember with Alexander. It was fairly brief, 13 minutes. He just gave insights about his experience with the real world. That was pretty much it. And then we have Ronan, Hammer of the Gods. Yeah, that was an interesting thumbnail. I did enjoy cutting that one out. Alright, actually he's no longer Hammer of the Gods. Now he's something like Warrior of Allah, because he has, I'm not sure if officially converted to Islam, but he has started learning about Islam. And Ronan is starting an agency with 2 other copywriting captains, which are fine to name. He definitely named Alex as one of them, the 15-year-old copywriter that is completely killing it. And the other one was Andrea, who I interviewed right here. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can say name. All right, Ronan earning 10K per month as a 20-year-old copywriter. What else do we have? Just a lot of conversation, even kind of off topic in a way. I just wanted to see how Ronan's doing because I haven't talked to him in a while. But yeah, random conversations, some interesting insights. I'll leave it at that. And then we have Bear, who I wanted to do an interview with ages ago, as in a follow-up interview. But we just couldn't coordinate at the time because he was super busy. And finally, we got the follow-up interview. Last one we done was back in February. I believe it was 1st of February. Let's see. A lot of stock crypto trading analysis and discussion there, because he has a very interesting mind and super analytical. He was, what's the word I'm looking for? Hyper-analyzing. He was hyper-analyzing every area of his trading. As an example, all the data he had gathered, he checked the ideal times for him to trade based off of performance, the duration for him to be in a trade, and best performing assets for him to trade. Just again, random examples, but everything he could analyze, he has pinned down to like hyper analyzed. And he uses that to fine tune his trading. Again, a lot of it was trading talk with Bear, but super cool guy. Love speaking to him because there's a story there which I can't quite say, but yeah, it was super interesting. Now we have Tyler. We do not have Tyler. We have Never. No, okay. So yeah, uploaded the wrong way around. Tyler does transmissions for classic cars. Rebuilds transmissions in classic cars. And 1 year ago, his life was completely different, going in a completely different trajectory. And he talks about the positive experiences he's had with the real world and how that has completely transformed him. Asked him about his manual transmission business. I don't remember where else. But yeah, again, it was a lot of it was about the transformation of Tyler and just how much his life has changed. Then we go on to Never, who was doing it from his car as well. And Never started his own business with the help of the real world. He is a single father of 2 children, so a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and that's been for the past 10 years. So in those 10 years, he hasn't been able to build a career or really dedicate his time towards financial freedom. But after finding the real world, it relit the fire within him. Part of it because of the direction he got, but also because of the community within, and just seeing everyone striving towards a common goal. He now has a lot more energy and a fire within him to build his own business and dedicate his time to building something of his own. And that, I'd say, concludes Never. So we move on to Norai G and Graham, who earning 20K in 6 weeks using content creation. Quite the achievement. But super high energy. He is just buzzing with energy. Was a very interesting guy. He had 30 different business ideas. Yeah, that would be the right way to put it. Prior to joining the real world, but none of them succeeded. All something went wrong. So of course it was a learning experience, but still, he knew he needed guidance, some kind of just something to push him over the edge to success. And that's what the real WOD gave him. So throughout the whole interview, he was expressing his gratitude for the real WOD and everything that he learned within, especially within the content creation campus, and just how much that helped him land a client through which he just has insane amount of things going on now and insane potential for the future as well. I remember he said he started a podcast, radio show, commentating boxing events, just a load of things, and all because of content creation. And he was saying he probably could have figured it out on his own, but it would have been years. Whereas in this case, it was just a few months. So yeah, again, super grateful. And he was doing the interview from a van, which he built to be a studio of his. So that was also interesting. We done a camera flip around midway, showed outside, went outside to sit there. That was the first time experiencing that. I haven't seen that before. And then we go on to sorry for lag. What do you mean lag? Docking Joker. We have Docking Joker again, same as last week. But yeah, what did you mean by sorry for lag? And we have Jan over in YouTube, brother. No matter if you get 0 views or not, just know the AFM Canvas always has your back. You're producing invaluable content and the mission of the real world. Keep it up. Thank you. I know we're all on the right side of history. I will say that. So I'm happy to be contributing however it's in my power to do so. Okay, so then we have Mihao, who is a video editor. Speaking of AFM Campus, he's a video editor who landed a client through the real world and has a $1,440 retainer, who is from Poland, lives in the UK, talks about his experience learning video editing and the insights and everything he learned from the real world. Don't have much else to add. That was basically a summary of it. But mainly it was from content creation and AI that he implemented rather than AFM. All right, and next we have Alfie. We're almost done. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Let's try high energy for these last ones. Not that I have too much to say. But all right. Alfie! I found out about Alfie through Stefan. Okay. That was a notch too high. All right. I found out about Alfie through Stefan. Alfie is 17, into copywriting. He is thinking of moving to Thailand, I believe, as well, to be with Stefan. But for now, he's training MMA. He's earned $2,000 while he was 16, because he only recently turned 17. And yeah, he talks about his life. He's a very good speaker for his age. I can't say that. And one thing that stood out is even at his age, he is also considering Islam and the values of Islam, the traditional aspect of it, and really getting himself into learning about Islam, which is super cool to see. And yeah, it was a nice conversation with Alfie. Don't remember too much else. So I'll go on to Julius Caesar, the Conqueror. 329, 328. Oh, no, wait. I meant to do escape first. Okay. So first is escape. He had a super rough past. Talks a bit about that. Then he flipped his life around at the age of 18. He's now 24. So it's been 6 years of positive trajectory change for him that he's been heading towards. One thing he started was a software company. Then not long after, he found the real world. That helped him scale the software company. He also started his own e-com business. And he made, due to the real world, he made $12,000 in revenue, of which $7,000 was profit. That was pretty cool. And yeah, it was an interesting journey to hear from Escape. And obviously his name is Escape because he's escaping the Matrix. All right. And then we have Caesar, who is 22 and in uni, who has just the complete iron mind, military mindset. Boom. Don't stop work. Just a super hardcore guy. Hardcore mindset. He's a trooper going for conquest. And he earned $50,000, I think it was revenue though, in those 3 months. And $15,000 of which was profit, which he does speak about. And finally, we have Andrea, who, as I probably said previously, I heard about him through Philippe, who I interviewed ages ago at this point. Well, number-wise ages ago, time-wise not as ages ago. And Philippe said that Andrea was his copywriting mentor and someone who helped him a lot in his copywriting journey. So I reached out to Andrea again, and yeah, we ended up speaking some more, and we finally got on for an interview because this was a long time in the making. I had messaged him prior, but due to some circumstances, couldn't do it before. And yeah, into Andrea's story. He is Albanian, raised with traditional values, doing MMA, building an agency with the other copywriting captains, Ronan and Alex. And he talks about why he got into copywriting, that what he wanted to do even before joining the real world, which was become a public speaker or go through university and become a professor. That was the path he was heading down towards, but now he's super glad he didn't do that because he's had such a much better, I'm making up words, such a much better trajectory that he's going through. I remember he said they want to make an agency that the other companies within their niche will be terrified when they realize or when they hear that Andrea's agency has come into their niche, because every niche they go to, they'll just dominate and conquer and take all the clients and eradicate the competition. So it was interesting hearing that. And yeah, he's a captain within the real world. So solid guy. And that concludes the reviews. I have 2 more that I've done. Actually, I need to go do one right now. So I will be heading off. Any questions for me before I end the recording? For the interview, was busy with work and took a short vacation, needing to unplug from work, but still trading. All good. Darking Joker, remind me your name in the interview, because I think you may have said last week, but I forgot. I will be, hello King Glory. I need to message the next person I'm interviewing to tell them I'm a few minutes delayed. But yeah, any questions I'll reply to. If not, then I will be heading off to next interview. Amari. All right, Amari. If you listen to this, I'm coming soon. Let me see. Amari, I messaged through here. Let's send them a link. Cool. All right, that's sorted. Let's see. Any more questions? Doesn't look like it. So I will be ending this. And feel free to come back next week for another review of 21 interviews from the real world. Because until the end of the year, until the end of the month, still going to be doing 3 interviews every day. And yeah, thank you to everyone who tuned in, and wish you a great week.